Team Men is joined here with world-renowned trainer Joe Gallagher. Joe, fight week for Vasyl Lomachenko versus Anthony Crolla. It's an exciting fight here at one of the premier arenas in Los Angeles. I talked to Crolla yesterday, and he's pumped, he's motivated, he's very hungry to take those 2 titles away from Vasyl Lomachenko. I'd like to get your thoughts on what's the mentality right now with Team Crolla?
Team Crolla, we're very relaxed. We know we've got a big job to do on Friday night. No one's expecting him to win, and when you don't have that pressure on you, you can relax a little bit more. We know we have to switch on Friday night once the bell goes, but the camp is very positive, the mentality is very positive, and if your mind's right, your body can achieve. And Anthony Crolla is 100% focused in causing the huge upset. And you've got to remember, last time a Manchester fighter was here at this arena, Tyson Fury nearly pulled off a huge upset win over Deontay Wilder, came out the arena as the winner in many people's eyes that night, and Anthony Crolla will be looking to do the same thing Friday night.
He's taking on a tough opponent, you know, rated #1 by many as pound for pound.
I disagree. I'd say Canelo's #1 pound for pound. I think Usyk 2, Crawford 3. I think Lomachenko's around #4. But I don't know how anyone can not have Canelo #1. Canelo by far is the #1 pound for pound fighter.
I'll skip to your question, to your comment on. No problem. I'd like to get your thoughts on, you know, why you think Canelo's #1.
Well, I've been against Canelo with Callum Smith. You look at Canelo, how he's come through the weight divisions. He's only ever lost to Mayweather, and Mayweather got him at the right time. He wouldn't do the rematch, and I just think he's not ducked no one. I know he's had his issues with the banning and the PED, performance enhancing, and the Mexican beef, whatever. But as a fighter, he's beating, he's stepping up and everything else, and he stepped up to 168, but he didn't beat the #1. I have the #1 in Callum Smith, so if he wants to come back up and win the proper world title, then he can do. But I'm a huge admirer of Canelo, and I think he's a great fighter, and he's not afraid of any challenge, and you can just look at his resume, and I think he by far is the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world at the moment.
I love that you mentioned the fight between Callum Smith and Canelo. That I asked him yesterday if I asked Callum Smith if he's interested. He said, "Of course, that's a great fight that he'd like to take on." So I assume that you're enthusiastic to see that fight as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know Canelo's got a very busy schedule. I think there's talk of him and Triple G again at the end of the year. So I think what we're going to do, our plan is to fight Gilberto Ramirez. That's a huge fight. We beat Gilberto Ramirez, and then we want the Canelo fight in May next year. I think that's it. I think the Mexican audience will know who Callum Smith is then after beating Gilberto, and that's our plan for next year. Whether it's Canelo's plan, we're waiting to be seen, but yeah, that's what we want to do.
Well, Canelo has that fight with Danny Jacobs. Do you think he will win that fight easily, or will he pose a difficult challenge for Canelo?
No, I think Danny Jacobs, that's a really good fight. I think fair play to Canelo for fighting him. There'll be a lot of comparisons from how Jacobs did with Triple G. And I also think from that side, Canelo can learn an awful lot from that fight, what Triple G did right or what he did wrong. I expect Canelo to... he's a very live fighter, Jacobs. I can't write him off, but I'm a huge admirer of Canelo, and I think he finds a way to win.
I mean, that's a Mexican top fighter that brings in a lot of attention. We also have Ramirez, who you mentioned that they met each other just a couple of days ago. They talked to each other. Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn here talking about potential future fights. That would be a very fantastic fight to see as well. No,
listen, if you look at the top 2 in the world, Callum Smith's the ring champion, the #1. Ramirez is the #2, and that's what we're in the business for. We can't fight your Plants, your Durrells or Benavides. They're over on the other side. They're not willing to work, so let's do 1 and 2, and I think that's a great fight. They're both very alike, both good boxers, nice kids out of the ring. Callum Smith's just become a dad. Ramirez is just going to become a dad very shortly. His partner's having a baby in May, so they're both at a similar stage of the career, and I think it's a huge fight. The 2 best at super middleweight, and if it's that good a fight, I don't think there's no problem why they couldn't do a second or a third like Triple G Canelo.
Absolutely. So many potential fights that we cannot wait to hopefully see them come together. But a fight that we do have, of course, this Friday night is between Lomachenko and Anthony Crolla. Can you talk to me about training camp? You know, tough opponent in Vasyl Lomachenko. So what was training camp like? What was the focus?
It was a very tough training camp, very tough mentally. we had to set up situations, because Lomachenko, he doesn't come to knock you out, he comes to embarrass you, humiliate you, he wants you to quit on the stool. So we had to replicate Anthony having them feelings of being frustrated in the ring, of being embarrassed, and dealing with them, and being able to still stay concentrated and focused to carry on with the game plan that we've laid out. Yeah, so I don't want to say too much more, but we've dealt with a lot of things, and mentally keeping him strong and keeping him believing it. And just to let him remind him, you were a world champion. You did 24 rounds, you beat Barroso, you beat Perez, you beat Ricky Burns since you come back, Dow Jordan. You've earned your shot at this opportunity. And Lomachenko is a good fighter. He's been beat, he's been knocked down. And yeah, so he's not that big a bit underdog what people are making out.
You mentioned that there's not a lot of pressure on Crolla because he, he has a loss in his record. So, but as well does Lomachenko. And I talked to him yesterday, and Crolla said he's been beat before and he's beatable again. So that's a mentality that takes a lot off the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. And in boxing, we all love the sport. It's the sport of the underdog. It surprises us with upsets. Most recently, Jorge Linares getting beat. It's like we woke up in England going, Linares got beat. Oh my God, no way, no way. This thing happens. So who's not to say we can't wake up Saturday morning and Anthony Crolla's pulled off the biggest upset in world boxing for a very long time. You've got to believe. If your minds believe, your body can achieve, and we're 100% focused on it. And if they have taken Anthony lightly, they've got to be in for a shot.
For those who are excited to see this fight, how can you put into words what we're going to see on Friday night?
I think, like I say, we've got to see Vasily Lomachenko, a very skillful fighter, top of his game, against Anthony Crolla, who's always been the underdog in fights, always come back from adverse injuries and delivers on the net. On all of his fights, he goes in an underdog and he comes out the winner, bar Linares. So Linares is the only man to beat him in the last 6-7 years. He did 24 rounds with him, and yeah, it's got to be a good fight. It's got to be more competitive than what people are saying, and I think we've got to surprise a few people on Friday night.
Cannot wait. Thank you so much. Good luck on fighting.
No problem, Chase. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you, of course.